here's where the magic happens. You take this bad boy right here, dip it in the coconut Mitos. Yeah. So it is Thursday, May 26th, 6:25 a.m. We are 3 days out from the Buffalo, New York Marathon. For starters, today kicks off my carb load, which we're going to use this video to describe and talk about the importance and how to carb load prior to an endurance event. And it's also my last run in Texas prior to the race. We only have 6 more easy miles to log. Today, Thursday, it's a 4-mile easy jog. Tomorrow, Friday, is a travel day to Buffalo, so it's an off day from running. Saturday, 2 miles, easy, just shake out. And then Sunday's race day. So I'm linking up with Jeremy and Yoli here at the spot we've been filming this entire prep. We're going to knock out these 4 miles and then start getting some more carbs in. But so far today, on the way here, I had in this shaker bottle was 2 scoops of G1M Sport. So 40 grams of carbohydrates, 700 milligrams of sodium, full electrolyte profile. But I will show you guys what I'm eating today. All right, let's knock her out.
Are we knocking out?
See bitches out there.
Okay.
This marathon prep is our way of helping you reach your goals by showing you what we are doing to accomplish ours. Throughout this series, leading up to the Buffalo, New York Marathon, we will provide you the tools, resources, and knowledge to PR your next race. Training as a hybrid athlete has taught me so much about endurance, from marathons, an Ironman triathlon, and 100-mile ultra trail races. I'm now setting the goal to run a sub 250 marathon. It's time to lean in and go one more.
Now the goal of a carbohydrate load is to top off on energy stores, being glycogen. It's what your body stores, carbohydrates. So what happens when you eat a carbohydrate-rich meal? It gets broken down into glucose, and there's glucose in the blood. What your body is saying is, we need to clear this. So the pancreas releases or secretes insulin. That insulin then transports carbohydrates into the liver and the muscle as glycogen or stores as fat. that is the last run in Texas before we're going to Buffalo. So total 4.31 miles at a 7:27 minute per mile pace. One thing you find into the taper is you forget what fresh legs feel like. And that's how you kind of know you did the prep, you did the build the right way. As you're building fitness, as you're becoming a more efficient, faster runner, as volume and intensity is increasing, what happens when you decrease volume and intensity, and you start recovering, you start tapering, going into a race, your legs feel like they're brand new. Like you're just, the best way to describe it, you are shedding fatigue like you are a snake shedding its skin. You just feel like your legs are brand freaking new. And that's how I feel right now. Now, when we talk about an intentional carbohydrate load, it is not just throwing more carbs on your diet. This is very strategic, it's very intentional, and it has a direct purpose, right? It's to top off those glycogen stores so you have energy, you have fuel going into a big endurance race. So what I did is I put all my food for the day already into MyFitnessPal, which I never do, but doing it for this carbohydrate load to make sure I hit the macros that I want. So the goal is increase carbohydrate intake over these next couple days, being Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So 3 days, 3 full days of a carb load. Increase carbohydrate intake, minimize fiber, and lower protein and dietary fat. So like today, for example, my numbers should end up roughly around 160 grams of protein, 524 grams of carbs, 35 grams of fiber, and 57 grams of fat. Usually, in the past couple weeks and months, my fat was a whole lot higher, my protein was higher, carbohydrates were a little bit lower. I'll play around with carbs after tonight. Tomorrow we'll probably get over 600 grams and just feeling it out, how I'm feeling out, how I'm feeling. But that's the goal. Carbs up, proteins and fats lowered. The main focus, we're trying to get those carbs stored as glycogen so we can use it come race day. So it is tradition for me to kick off a carb load with some protein waffles. So I'll show you how I'm making these, but I want to show you a tip first. I add bananas to my protein waffles or protein pancakes all the time. Now what I do is I smash it up while it's still in the peel so it gets really soft, and then after it's all mushed up like that and you can feel it's soft, you crack it open and it mixes into your mix a whole lot easier. It's a solid hack. So I have the batter all mixed up. What I have in here is a serving and a half of Kodiak cakes, 1 scoop of vanilla whey protein, some vanilla extract, some cinnamon, mashed up banana, 1 egg, a little bit of milk to get it into the right consistency. And then I'm going to top it with some Kerrygold Irish butter and organic maple syrup. So we are kicking off the carb up in the best way possible. Protein waffles. Delicious. Protein waffles, but still very dense in carbohydrates. So some things to keep in mind when you're considering a carb up. Maybe it's your first carb load for an endurance training event. Maybe it's not. Maybe you haven't considered these things before. If you've been following the series up until this point, you know I am a big fan of testing it. Test, and test again. So I have tested my carb plan leading into every big workout. My 20-mile workouts, my 22-mile workout at marathon pace. So I know what works for me. And when I say test, what does that mean? Test so you know how many carbs you should be consuming, what sources. Like for me, I know what sources of carbs work great for a carb up. I typically will do some waffles or pancakes in the morning, sourdough bread, sweet potatoes, rice, pasta, some fruit, not too much fruit, things that digest very well for me, but you have to figure that out. So test your carb up plan leading into your bigger marathon paced workouts. How many carbs? How frequently? What sources are they coming from? So when you come to race day, you know what has worked in the past hopefully is going to work race day, because what you don't want to happen is you have stomach discomfort, you're looking for a bathroom or a porta potty on the course, you're getting stomach cramps, maybe you didn't carb up enough, maybe you left a lot on the table, right? Like just make sure you test your strategy prior to. The second thing I want to talk about is having realistic expectations going into the carb up. So because I've done this many times before, I know what to expect. Right now, I am in the second week of the taper. I have started carbing up. My training intensity and volume is low. I feel like I'm on cloud 9 right now. I have so much energy. I have so much built up energy in my legs that I just want to sprint. That's the best way to describe it. I'm restraining myself not to sprint right now. I have those expectations because I've tested it and I've done it before, right? Another realistic expectation to have during a carb up is you're probably going to start feeling a little heavier, more full. And for a lot of people, it might scare them. Like, I'm feeling a little heavy with these extra carbs I've been consuming. And when you're consuming more carbs and you're staying hydrated, obviously you're going to see a small increase probably on the scale in terms of your weight. So just know that you might feel more full, you might feel a little heavier, but come race day, you're going to feel light, you're going to feel fast, and you're going to feel strong, which is the most important part. Another thing I want to talk about is the trained versus the non-trained. The more fit you are, the longer you've been training, the more this whole approach applies to you. If you're in really good shape, showing up race day, and you've done your carb up, your body is going to respond more efficiently in terms of storing carbohydrates as glycogen and being used for fuel. So just keep that in mind, that the more fit you are, the more trained you are, the longer you've been doing this, the more efficient your body will become at storing carbs as glycogen and being able to use those quickly and efficiently as a fuel source. And the last thing I want to talk about is this is not an opportunity to have a 3 to 4 day cheat or binge, right? Do not eat like an asshole is the best way to describe it. A lot of times, there's a clear example. A episode of The Office, Michael Scott was doing a 5K.
Time to carbo load.
Right before starting the 5K, he was throwing down
Fettuccine Alfredo.
because he assumed, I got to carb up, so I'm going to get all this creamy chicken Alfredo in, which probably also accumulated about 100 grams of fat, and he got sick for the race.
Oh, Alfredo sauce. I'm getting a stitch. I can't finish.
Now, I know you guys probably aren't going to be eating creamy chicken Alfredo come race day, but with that being said, be very strategic. This is a tool to use to improve efficiency and speed and endurance for a fueling game plan. Don't use this to go eat a bunch of burgers and fries and milkshakes, because there's carbs in there, right? Like we talked about previously, lower your protein a little bit, lower your fat a little bit, increase carbohydrates, and you will get the effects. But don't eat like an asshole or you will race like an asshole. All right? So those are the things I want to talk about in regards to carbing up for a race. Coming in hot. Very hot. All right, right in here is 2 cups of sushi rice that I made last night. I'm going to share with you guys a little carb load meal tactic that I love. So here's what I got going on, a little spread. I'm gonna eat 4 dates. I'm gonna eat some blueberries and raspberries right in there. And then here's my little bowl. In my bowl, I'm gonna put coconut aminos. I love coconut aminos. So we're gonna fill this thing a little bit. A little goes a long way. Right there. That's my sauce. Now, this is what I'm making. This is going to be a sushi roll that is just seaweed sheets and rice. So I have these seaweed sheets right here. That's literally all it is seaweed. Thought maybe there was some sea salt in there. No, only ingredient, seaweed. So I have 400 grams of rice. You want to get it really hot, because when it's really hot, it almost molds your sushi or your seaweed. So you take the seaweed sheet right there, and we're going to take some of this sushi rice. All right. Load that bad boy up. I like making these at night too, before going to bed when I'm carbing up. And now we're going to roll it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just get a nice tight roll in there. And once you roll it, let it sit. And when it sits in there, it's gonna kind of just mold that seaweed layer a little bit better. We'll make our second one. Jeremy, have you ever made one of these?
I have not.
Well, next race, Jeremy's got his ultra here in a few weeks. When you're carbing up for your ultra, try one of these bad boys. If you need to get some more sodium in your diet, I'm gonna eat the rest of that too. I'm not letting any rice behind. All right. Yeah, if you're carbing up for an ultra or your next race, give these bad boys a try. So this is the first one we made. I mean, I can tell a big difference in this one and that one. This one is like, it's molded. Here's where the magic happens. You take this bad boy right here, dip it in the coconut aminos. Yeah. Now, I will say, the seaweed doesn't always tear perfectly, as you can see. But give us a try. You will not be disappointed.
You ever made one of those, Ryan?
I have not. You made one of those, Shane?
What are you talking about?
Made a seaweed
Come
roll
look at
before?
this.
Yeah, the first time you showed me that, I was like, what is that?
You carbing up?
Just
Big,
all rice.
big finance guy. Carbing up for some Excel
crunching?
spreadsheets. Carb up, baby. And here it is, the race day singlet. This is a Nike singlet. Go one more on the back, and then the Bear Performance Nutrition Varsity B logo on the front. So tomorrow morning, we head out for Buffalo, New York, which means this is the last episode of our marathon prep series prior to the race day video. And I want to say a massive thank you for all the support throughout the past couple months in this prep. And I hope that this series has helped you learn a lot about running, a lot about racing, and hopefully after implementing a lot of these strategies and techniques, you PR your next race. So we'll see you guys in Buffalo.
Every day I wake up, I'm reminded that some of the decisions that I make today will add up over a lifetime and amount to wherever I end up. Growth is a choice. You see, for most, the hardest part of an ambitious goal is putting it out into existence. It makes it real. And when it's real, it holds you accountable. I've learned that some of your biggest wins are achieved when you commit to them before you're even ready. When you sign up, commit, and obsess on that goal, there is nothing that can hold you back except for you. But it's our duty to prepare in order to fight for that win. We do this by showing up every single day, brick by brick. There will be many days that we want to, but there will also be many that we don't. We're not evaluated on how we performed on the days when we wanted to. But more importantly, how did we perform on the days when we didn't? It's time to lean in and go one more.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to another video of our marathon prep series. If you enjoyed this one, please like the video, comment below, and if you are new, make sure to subscribe. And while you're here, make sure to click our last episode of our marathon prep video series, which is right here. This was a 22-mile workout with a lot of those paces at marathon splits. So we'll see you guys in the next video.